All India Radio presents Morning News. Good morning. I am Lalema Aneja Dang, and with me is Subhadra Ramachandran. The headlines. India scripts history by crossing landmark of administering 150 crore COVID vaccination doses. Prime Minister Narendra Modi hails the historic feat. Centre reviews preparedness status of entire spectrum of oxygen infrastructure with states and union territories amid surge of COVID-19 cases. Government makes 7-day home quarantine mandatory for all international arrivals into the country. Weekend curfew enforced in Delhi till 5 a.m. on Monday amid spike in COVID-19 cases. India's gross domestic product estimates to rise 9.2% in current fiscal. Andhra Pradesh announces increase in retirement age of state government employees from 60 years to 62 years. And in sports Ministry's Mission Olympic Cell approves inclusion of alpine skiing athlete Muhammad Arif Khan in Target Olympic Podium Scheme core group until the Winter Olympics. As India marches towards administering 150 crore vaccine doses against COVID-19, news about the new corona variant is a cause of concern. We appeal to our listeners to get fully vaccinated and help others, including children between 15 and 18 years, get vaccinated, as nationwide vaccination of teenagers is also underway now. Please continue to follow these 3 simple steps to stay safe. Wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki duri for social distancing, and focus on hand and face hygiene. For any COVID-related information and guidance, please contact the national helpline numbers 011-2397-8046 and 1075. And now the news in detail. India's COVID-19 vaccination coverage has crossed 150 crore 52 lakh mark yesterday. This remarkable feat was achieved in less than a year. The national COVID vaccination drive started on the 16th of January last year. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has congratulated the country for achieving this milestone. He said India has achieved this historic feat in the first week of the first month of the year itself. Mr. Modi was speaking after inaugurating the second campus of the Chittaranjan National Cancer Institute, CNCI, in Kolkata through video conference yesterday. The Prime Minister said, as cases are rising due to the Omicron variant, this shield of 150 crore vaccine doses becomes all the more important.
भारत 150 करोड़ 1.5 बिलियन वैक्सीन डोजेज का ऐतिहासिक मुकाम हासिल कर रहा है। 150 करोड़ वैक्सीन डोज वो भी 1 साल से कम समय में। ये आंकड़ों के हिसाब से बहुत बड़ी संख्या है। भारत के लिए ये एक नई इच्छा शक्ति का प्रतीक है जो असंभव को संभव करने के लिए कुछ भी कर गुजरने का हौसला रखती है। भारत के लिए ये प्रतीक है आत्मविश्वास का, ये प्रतीक है आत्मनिर्भरता का, ये प्रतीक है आत्मगौरव का।
Mr. Modi said, in the journey of the pledge to make the best medical care available to each and every citizen of the country, the government has taken another major step with the inauguration of the new campus of the Chittaranjan National Cancer Institute in Kolkata. The Prime Minister said this campus will go a long way in providing affordable and state-of-the-art care to the people of West Bengal, especially poor and middle-class families. Mr. Modi also spoke on the fear of the financial distress caused due to cancer. To get the poor out of the vicious circle that the disease causes, the country is taking continuous steps for cheap and accessible treatment.
पश्चिम बंगाल सहित पूरे देश में जो 8,000 से ज्यादा जन औषधि केंद्र स्थापित किए गए हैं, उनमें बहुत सस्ते दाम पर दवाइयां और सर्जिकल सामान दिए जा रहे हैं। इन स्टोर्स पर कैंसर की भी 50 से अधिक दवाइयां बहुत कम कीमत पर उपलब्ध है। कैंसर की सस्ती दवाओं को उपलब्ध कराने के लिए विशेष अमृत स्टोर भी देश भर में चल रहे हैं। सरकार का यही सेवा भाव, यही संवेदनशीलता गरीबों को सस्ता इलाज सुनिश्चित करने में मदद कर रहा है.
The Prime Minister said yesterday that the Ayushman Bharat scheme is becoming a global benchmark in terms of affordable and inclusive healthcare. Under the Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana, more than 2 crore 60 lakh patients have received free treatment in hospitals across the country.
आयुष्मान भारत योजना एफोर्डेबल और इंक्लूसिव हेल्थ केयर के मामले में एक ग्लोबल बेंचमार्क बन रही है. पीएम जय के तहत देश भर में 2 करोड़ 60 लाख से ज्यादा मरीज अस्पतालों में अपना मुफ्त इलाज करा चुके हैं.
West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee and Union Ministers Dr. Mansukh Mandaviya, Dr. Subhash Sarkar, Shantanu Thakur, John Barla and Nisit Pramanik were among those present on the occasion.
The government has said that there is no need for new registration for precaution dose. Precaution doses will be administered to the healthcare workers, frontline workers and citizens above 60 years of age with comorbidities from the 10th of January. The government has said that those who have taken 2 doses of COVID-19 vaccines can directly take an appointment or walk in to any COVID-19 vaccination center for it. The schedule will be published today. Online appointment facility will also start by today evening. Vaccination with on-site appointment will start on 10th of January. The centre has reviewed the preparedness status of the entire spectrum of oxygen infrastructure including PSA plants, oxygen concentrators, cylinders and ventilators with states and union territories. The Union Health Secretary chaired a high-level meeting in this regard for timely and effective management of the COVID-19 pandemic through a video conference. Highlighting the challenge posed by the increasing number of COVID cases across the country, with a focus on Omicron, the Health Secretary emphasized that it is the primary and critical responsibility of states and union territories to ensure all oxygen equipment till the field level at all health facilities is tested and kept in a functional state to meet any emergent situation.
The Union Government has said that a total of 3,007 cases of Omicron variant of COVID-19 have been reported so far in the country. Out of the total cases, 1,199 patients have already recovered. The country reported over 1,17,000 new COVID cases in the last 24 hours. The national recovery rate stands at 97.57%.
The Health and Family Welfare Ministry has issued guidelines for international passengers. The standard operating procedure will come into effect from the 11th of this month. Under the revised guidelines, travellers coming from other countries are required to undergo 7 days of home quarantine and shall undertake the RT-PCR test on the 8th day of arrival in India. Travellers will be required to upload results of the RT-PCR test on the Air Suvidha portal. The revised guidelines state that all travellers planning travel need to submit information in a self-declaration format on the online Air Suvidha portal before the scheduled travel. The traveller needs to upload a negative COVID-19 RT-PCR report to be conducted 72 hours prior to undertaking the journey. Delhi has reported 17,335 fresh cases in the last 24 hours, taking the positivity rate in the national capital to 17.73%. This is the highest number of cases reported in Delhi since May 2021. As per the health bulletin issued by the Chief Minister's office, there are 39,873 active COVID cases in Delhi presently. Total 8,951 recoveries and 9 deaths were also recorded in the last 24 hours in Delhi.
A weekend curfew is in force in Delhi from 10 p.m. last night and will be in effect till 5 a.m. on Monday amid the spike in COVID-19 cases. There are some restrictions on movement of individuals during this weekend curfew. However, people who come under the exempted categories will be allowed to move. Officials who are involved in essential and emergency services will be allowed on the production of valid identity cards. The Delhi Metro train services will be available at a frequency of 15 minutes on the Yellow Line and Blue Line. However, on all other lines, metro trains will be available at a frequency of 20 minutes during the weekend curfew. As per the Delhi Disaster Management Authority's order, metro trains and buses can run with 100% seating capacity. Chhattisgarh has recorded a rapid increase in the number of COVID-19 cases. Within a week, the number of corona-infected patients in the state has increased tenfold. At the same time, the average test positivity rate has also increased by 5 times. Meanwhile, COVID vaccination is going on in full swing in the state. Here's more from our Raipur correspondent.
In Chhattisgarh, more than 1,25,49,000 persons in the state have been inoculated both the doses of corona vaccine. This is 64% of the population above 18 years of age in the state. Meanwhile, vaccination of children in the age group of 15 to 18 years is also going on in the state. A target has been set to vaccinate more than 16,39,000 children of this age group. Of these, more than 6,18,000 children have already been inoculated the dose of corona vaccine so far. Vikalp Shukla, AIR News, Raipur.
Maharashtra reported 40,925 fresh COVID-19 cases. The highest number of 20,971 cases were reported from the capital city, Mumbai. According to the State Health Department, 20 patients succumbed to the infection in a day across the state. While 14,256 patients were discharged, the active cases in the state rose to 1,41,492. The Gujarat government has announced a series of new restrictions following a sudden spike in COVID-19 cases in the state. According to the official announcement, night curfew will be imposed in 10 cities from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. from today. Similarly, the offline classes of Standard 1 to 9 will remain closed till the 31st of January.
In Telangana, the massive surge in daily COVID-19 cases driven by the Omicron variant of SARS-CoV-2 has continued, with health authorities reporting 2,295 positive cases during the past 24 hours. Out of them, 1,452 infections were reported from the areas under Greater Hyderabad Municipal Corporation. 3 fatalities were also reported yesterday. In a bilingual live phone-in program, Corona Jagruta series, Dr. Tanuja Nesari of All India Institute of Ayurveda, New Delhi, will be with us tonight to answer the queries related to coronavirus. Listeners can ask questions to the expert from 9:30 p.m. on telephone number 011-2342-1230 and 011-2342-1764. You may also post your queries on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts by hashtag AskAIR. This live program can be heard on FM Gold channel and additional frequencies from 9:30 p.m. onwards.
You are listening to the morning news on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. India scripts history by crossing landmark of administering 150 crore COVID vaccination doses. Prime Minister Narendra Modi hails the historic feat. Centre reviews preparedness status of entire spectrum of oxygen infrastructure with states and union territories amid surge of COVID-19 cases. Government makes 7-day home quarantine mandatory for all international arrivals into the country. Weekend curfew enforced in Delhi till 5 a.m. on Monday amid spike in COVID-19 cases. India's gross domestic product estimates to rise 9.2% in current fiscal. Andhra Pradesh announces increase in retirement age of state government employees from 60 years to 62 years. And in sports, Sports Ministry's Mission Olympic Cell approves inclusion of alpine skiing athlete Mohammad Arif Khan in Target Olympic Podium Scheme Core Group until the Winter Olympics. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts.
2017 से पहले जो लड़के हैं गलती हो जाती है बोलकर छूट जाते थे। 2017 के बाद उन अपराधियों पर होती है कार्यवाही। 2017 से पहले भैंस ढूंढने वाली पुलिस 2017 के बाद अपराधियों को काबू करती है। फर्क साफ है।
जब भाइयों बहनों सरकार की नीयत साफ होती है, सोच ईमानदार होती है, तो काम भी दमदार होता है।
पिछले 4.5 सालों में उत्तर प्रदेश सरकार की ईमानदार सोच और दमदार काम से यूपी बन रहा है नंबर 1। यूपी में विकास होता रहेगा लगातार। सोच ईमानदार, काम दमदार।
अपने बिजनेस को बढ़ाने के लिए लीजिए आकाशवाणी का सहयोग और दीजिए उसे बुलंदियों के पंख।
आपका बिजनेस लोकल है या राष्ट्रीय, आकाशवाणी देती है उपभोक्ताओं तक पहुंचने का हर विकल्प।
और अब तो आप घर, दफ्तर या दुकान पर बैठे बैठे कर सकते हैं आकाशवाणी के किसी भी केंद्र के लिए विज्ञापनों की बुकिंग।
आकाशवाणी के विभिन्न चैनलों पर विज्ञापन देना सुलभ और सस्ता।
बुकिंग है तो संपर्क करें 8700014242 पर।
8700014242।
India's gross domestic product GDP is estimated to rise 9.2% in the current fiscal as compared to a contraction of 7.3% in the financial year 2020-21. This was stated by the Statistics and Program Implementation Ministry in its first advance estimates of national income for the financial year 2021-22. It has also been stated that the real GDP or GDP at constant prices in the current fiscal year is estimated at 147.54 lakh crore rupees as against the provisional estimate of GDP for the year 2020-21 of 135.13 lakh crore rupees. Second advance estimates of national income for the year 2021-22 and quarterly GDP estimate for the quarter October-December 2021 will be released next month.
The Supreme Court has directed the Registrar General of the Punjab and Haryana High Court to secure and preserve the travel records of Prime Minister Narendra Modi during his visit to Punjab forthwith. The court has also directed Punjab and police authorities, Special Protection Group and other central and state agencies to cooperate and provide necessary assistance to seal the entire record. The Apex Court was hearing a petition seeking a thorough probe into the security lapse during Prime Minister's visit to Punjab's Firozpur district on Wednesday. The Supreme Court will continue hearing the case on a Monday.
Andhra Pradesh Chief Minister Y.S. Jagan Mohan Reddy has announced an increase in the retirement age of the state government employees from 60 years to 62 years, which will be implemented from this January. While addressing a meeting of various employee unions at Amaravati yesterday, the Chief Minister also announced a fitment of 23% as the new pay scales shall come into force from January 2022.
And now let's listen to our special program Azadi Ka Safar, highlighting the importance of the day during the freedom struggle.
Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav.
Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. Birth of a Nation. India's glorious freedom struggle is one of the greatest struggles the modern world has ever witnessed. AIR News brings you a glimpse of the struggle every day.
In today's episode, we remember philosopher and social reformer Keshab Chandra Sen, who died on the 8th of January 1884. A famous Brahmo Samaj leader of Bengal, he founded a new universal religion, Navabidhan, meaning new dispensation, which aimed to incorporate the best ideas of Western spirituality with Hinduism.
Even as a youth, Keshav's primary concern was the quest for a universal religion. In 1857, while still in college, he established the Goodwill Fraternity, a Unitarian religious society for the students. In one of the meetings of this organization, Keshav first met famous Brahmo leader Debendranath Tagore.
Fascinated by Vedantism, Keshav joined the Brahmo Samaj in 1857 and became its central figure in 1858. Keshav gave new life to Brahmo Samaj, introducing new ideas and activities in it.
After being appointed the Brahmo Samaj Acharya in 1862, Keshav insisted on giving up some Hindu customs and practices, such as caste system, untouchability, and child marriage, and became the champion of widow and intercaste marriages.
Women's education was one of Keshav's greatest concerns. He also actively supported educational efforts of the Bhamabodhini Sabha.
After differences with Debendranath, Keshav Chandra Sen formed a new society in 1866 called the Bharatavarshiya Brahmo Samaj. In 1881, Keshav officially instituted Navabidhan, a new syncretistic religion based on the union of East and West. We salute the great reformer.
We also remember nationalist Madhu Limaye, who died on the 8th of January 1995.
Madhu Limaye was born on the 1st of May 1922 in Pune. During the freedom struggle, he was associated with the Indian National Congress and the Congress Socialist Party from 1938 to 1948. He also participated in the Goa Liberation Movement in 1955 and was sentenced to imprisonment. He spent over 19 months in Portuguese captivity. A follower of Ram Manohar Lohia, he played an active part in the JP movement in the 1970s.
We salute the great nationalist.
We also remember nationalist and feminist Asha Purna Devi, who was born on the 8th of January 1909 in Calcutta. Growing up during the politically turbulent times of Indian independence movement, a strong sense of patriotism was kindled in Asha Purna from childhood itself. Asha Purna's powerful trilogy, Pratham Pratishruti, Subarnalata and Bokul Katha, depict the women's liberation from colonial India to independent India.
Asha Purna's writings focus on gender discrimination. Her short stories and novels vividly portray the condition of middle-class Bengali women. They entail the repression, angst, growing awareness, and the final revolt of women.
সম্পাদক তো রাজকুমার চক্র উনি আমাকে উৎসাহ দিয়েছিলেন যদি আমাকে লেখিকা করার জন্য যদি কারোর কোনো কৃতিত্ব থাকে তো ওরই প্রথম লেখাটা ফেরত তো দিলেনই না সমাদরে ছাপলেন এবং তক্ষুনি লিখলেন যে তুমি গল্প লিখতে পারলে লেখো।
For her significant contribution to the field of literature, especially feminist literature, Asha Purna Devi was bestowed with the Gyanpith Award as well as the Padma Shri by the Government of India in 1976. On the 13th of July 1995, she passed away. Her literary creations, translated in several languages, remain part of various school curriculum. AIR salutes the great Indian feminist.
That brings us to the end of this episode of Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. See you in the next episode tomorrow.
Best wishes to all consumers for Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. Hallmark ensures purity of gold. Always purchase Hallmark gold jewelry. For any consumer-related complaints, please contact National Consumer Helpline's toll-free number 14404. Issued in public interest by the Department of Consumer Affairs, Government of India. Jago, Grahak Jago. In Madhya Pradesh, 78 officers of the Border Security Force will dedicate themselves to the security of the country after the convocation parade at the BSF Academy in Tekanpur today. Union Minister of Sports and Youth Affairs and Information and Broadcasting, Anurag Thakur, will be the chief guest at the convocation parade. He will also be taking a meeting of officers at the Lakshmibai National Institute of Physical Education, Gwalior. More from our correspondent.
The Grand Convocation Parade of newly appointed Assistant Commandant Departmental Batch 13 will be held at the Virangna Rani Lakshmibai Parade Ground of Border Security Force Academy, Tekanpur, today. In this parade, a total of 78 trainee gazetted officers, including 3 women officers, will take an oath to dedicate themselves to uphold the unity, integrity and sovereignty of the country's constitution. These 78 young officers have been made physically and mentally fit and strong during 28 weeks of rigorous training. Sanjeev Sharma, AIR News, Tekanpur, Gwalior.
Nepal Embassy's New Delhi has congratulated All India Radio for doubling the broadcasting time in Nepali. In an exclusive interview to All India Radio News, Nepal's Shah de Affair in India, Ram Prasad Subedi lauded AIR for launching a special program on Nepal and extended its best wishes.
I'm very happy to learn that Nepali service got 3 hours of time from 1.5 hours. It's double the length of the broadcasting time. Congratulations for that. You have been contributing by this means of communication for such a long time. I feel that, okay, this is good that the radio deserves the recognition as a messenger of people.
Talking about India-Nepal relations, Mr. Subedi said that both the nations have withstood the test of time and will gather more strength in years to come. In an exclusive interview to All India Radio News, he said the two countries look forward to new areas of cooperation. The full interview will be broadcast in a Spotlight program today at 9:15 p.m. onwards.
The News Services Division brings you glimpses of the year 2021 in its special year-ender series. Today we take a look at tribal welfare, priorities for the government. Scheduled tribes, ST, constitute approximately 8.6% of population of India, numbering around 10.4 crores. In keeping with the vision of Prime Minister Narendra Modi of Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, Sabka Vishwas, the Government of India has focused on development of tribes and conservation of their heritage and culture as a priority. Last year, the Union Cabinet approved declaration of the 15th of November as Janjatiya Gaurav Divas, which is the birth anniversary of Birsa Munda, who is revered as Bhagwan by tribal communities across the country. On the occasion of 15th of November last year, Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurated Bhagwan Birsa Munda Memorial Udyan cum Freedom Fighter Museum at Ranchi through video conferencing. In his address, Mr. Modi said,
आजादी के इस अमृत काल में देश ने तय किया है कि भारत की जनजातीय परंपराओं को, इसकी शौर्य गाथाओं को देश अब और भी भव्य पहचान देगा। इसी क्रम में ये ऐतिहासिक फैसला लिया गया है कि हर वर्ष देश 15 नवंबर यानी भगवान बिरसा मुंडा के जन्म दिवस को जनजातीय गौरव दिवस के रूप में मनाएगा।
Sports Ministry's Mission Olympic Cell, MOC, has approved the inclusion of alpine skiing athlete Muhammad Arif Khan in the Target Olympic Podium Skiing TOPS core group until the Winter Olympics scheduled this February in Beijing, China. Mr. Khan will take part in the Winter Olympics in the slalom and giant slalom events. He has also been approved an amount of 17,46,000 rupees under TOPS towards training in Europe and procurement of equipment ahead of the grand event in China. The MOC approved the European training camp for Khan for a total of 35 days. And now let's take a look at the weather forecast for today. The national capital Delhi will have thunderstorm with rain. The minimum temperature was 13 degrees Celsius while the maximum will be around 18. In Mumbai, minimum temperature was 19 degrees Celsius while the maximum should be around 29. The city is expected to have a generally cloudy sky with light rain or drizzle. Chennai will have a partly cloudy sky. The temperature will vary between 23 and 30 degrees Celsius. Kolkata will have fog in the morning and mainly clear sky later. The city observed a minimum temperature of 16 degrees Celsius and a maximum of around 27 degrees.
And now an overview of today's newspapers. India achieves historic milestone of 150 crore doses, says the Statesman. No need to register for third shot. Can walk in from January 10, report the Indian Express. Indian economy to grow by 9.2%, fastest in the world, is a headline in the Pioneer. For the first time, Banarsi mangoes exported to London and Dubai under APEDA, reports the Statesman. The paper also reports that Bhubaneswar Land Use Intelligence System bags National E-Governance Gold Category Award.
And now the headlines again. India scripts history by crossing landmark of administering 150 crore COVID vaccination doses. Prime Minister Narendra Modi hails the historic feat. Centre reviews preparedness status of entire spectrum of oxygen infrastructure with states and union territories amid surge of COVID-19 cases. Government makes 7-day home quarantine mandatory for all international travels into the country. Weekend curfew enforced in Delhi till 5 a.m. on Monday amid spike in COVID-19 cases. And India's GDP estimates to rise 9.2% in current fiscal. And with that we end the morning news. Have a nice day.